If you ever find yourself walking through the old streets of Antwerp, surrounded by jewelry shops and men with loops hanging from their necks, you lines hear one phrase whispered with a mix of irritation and awe: the vault was supposed to be impossible. Antwerp wasn't just any diamond district, it was the Diamond District, the beating heart of the gem trade. Billions flowed through those underground vaults every single year. Seriously, the security was tighter than a banker's fist. We're talking cameras on cameras, guards who barely blinked, and an atmosphere so intense that even the boldest criminals thought twice. They didn't just avoid it because they feared getting caught. It was more about not wanting to risk their lives trying. But then there was this one guy who looked at all that heavy-duty security and didn't he see a fortress? Nope, he saw a challenge. His name, Leonardo Notarbartolo, a smooth-talking, slick-dressed thief with a smile sharp enough to cut glass. He'd been in the jewel-stealing game since he was a teenager, but Antwerp. That was like climbing Everest in the criminal world. And like any savvy climber, he knew you don't tackle a mountain solo. You need a solid team. Leonardo assembled a crew so skilled they almost didn't seem real. A genius electrician who could hack systems with one glance. A lock-picker whose hands moved like a pianist. A safe cracker who could feel tumblers like some people feel music, you know? He had this sixth sense for locks, and it was almost like an art form for him. Then there was this massive guy they all called the Monster, his job. Basically, if anything needed brute force, he was the one to handle it. Think of him as the muscle of the crew. They didn't just throw this plan together in a few weeks. No way. They spent years meticulously planning every detail. Leonardo even rented an office inside the Diamond Center building, pretending to be a dealer. He wore the suits, learned the lingo, and drank the same coffee as everyone else. He became so normal, so forgettable, that security guards waved at him every morning like he was just another face in the crowd. He studied the guards' routines like a hawk, noting the angles of the cameras and the exact moment the sun hit the hallway, causing glare on the lenses. He figured out which guards cheated on their breaks and which ones were notorious for napping behind their monitors. It was all part of his master plan. He wasn't just robbing the vault. He was digging into it like it was his final project for school. And let me tell you, this vault was a beast. Heat sensors, light sensors, magnetic locks, a seismic alarm that could pick up the tiniest footsteps, and a lock with a jaw-dropping 100 million possible combinations. Cameras in every direction, like 1,000 eyes watching every move. Thick steel doors that weighed as much as a small car, just waiting to be challenged. If the devil built a safe, it would definitely look like this. But Leonardo's crew, they didn't even flinch. Instead, they tackled it piece by piece, figuring out how to outsmart every system in ways that seemed straight out of a movie. Imagine using hairspray to freeze a magnetic sensor, right? Or whipping up a fake metal plate that tricked the cameras into thinking the vault door was untouched. And let us not forget the master locksmith who could duplicate the vault key just by studying video footage. Talk about skills. Finally, the night came. February 15th, 2003. The stage was set for a heist that would go down in history. Valentine's weekend, the perfect time for a heist. Security guards were distracted, officers were understaffed, and lovers were too busy sipping wine and sharing sweet nothings to notice a crew of thieves slipping underground like ghosts. The cameras, totally looping like a never-ending movie scene. The heat sensors, neutralized with layers of plastic and tape like a crafty DIY project. The motion detectors, totally outsmarted. They used this custom-made shield that made it seem like nothing was there at all. I mean, how clever is that? And the vault door. It swung open like a stubborn closet that just didn't want to give up its secrets. Inside, they found over 100 safe boxes, each one crammed with diamonds, gold, cash, and antique jewelry. Can you even imagine the generational wealth hidden in those tiny metal drawers? It's like a treasure chest straight out of a pirate movie. The crew was like a well-oiled machine, moving with such speed and silence. It felt like they were in a heist film, you know? There was no drama, no shouting, no smashing things up. They worked with the precision of surgeons, each member knowing their role inside and out. By the time the morning light peeked over the streets of Antwerp, Leonardo and his crew had seamlessly blended into the daily hustle and bustle, mingling with office workers, bakers, students. Just your everyday folks going about their day. They were like shadows slipping through the crowd unnoticed. It wasn't until hours later, when the guards finally opened the vault and were hit with the chaos inside, that all hell broke loose. Safe boxes ripped open, millions gone, and it was like a crime scene from a movie. No fingerprints anywhere, no alarms triggered, and absolutely no signs of forced entry. It was as if a ghost had come and gone, leaving behind nothing but disbelief. It was like the diamonds had simply evaporated. The global diamond industry freaked out so hard you could feel the panic in the air. Insurance companies screamed, jewelers fainted, police were humiliated, and Leonardo, he was miles away, kicking back and feeling like a king, thinking he had just pulled off the greatest heist in human history. But here's the kicker about big crimes. It's usually not the mastermind who slips up. It's the little, careless details that trip them up. Picture this. One of the thieves freaked out after the job and tossed their trash, old gloves, tape, food wrappers, receipts in a random forest instead of just burning it. A farmer stumbled upon that bag, called the cops, and just like that, investigators were able to scoop up fingerprints, DNA, and clues that pointed straight back to Leonardo's crew. And those diamonds, gone, vanished, never recovered. When police finally arrested Leonardo, he smirked like a man who had already won. And honestly, he kind of had. He served time, sure, but he never said a word about where the diamonds went. Some people think he stashed them. Others think they were quietly sold off chunk by chunk. One rumor even claims the whole heist was an inside job that Leonardo later refused to expose. When he was released years later, reporters swarmed him, hoping for confessions. Leonardo just smiled and said, "Those diamonds, gone forever," and walked away. To this day, the Antwerp Vault has been rebuilt, reinforced, redesigned, but deep down, everyone knows the truth. It wasn't the vault that failed. It was the belief that humans can't outsmart machines. Leonardo did the impossible. He broke into the safest vault in the world, stole everything inside, and left behind nothing except a legend. And somewhere out there, maybe in a safe deposit box or buried under a vineyard or hidden in a bank in another name, those diamonds are still waiting.